Tens of thousands of years ago, there was Atlantis, a utopic city built on euphoria, a high level of cognitive ability, resources, food, everything they could ever dream of. So these people had everything: resources, science and innovation, technology, food, mental and manpower, everything they could possibly ask for. And in the story, or at least the stories that are appended into this one story, there isn't just a depiction of material blessing. There is also a depiction of spiritual divinity, a connection to divinity. They had a connection to themselves and the connection to the environment, and they understood the balance and the relationship between the two of them. And I believe it is in this very unism, mental unism, this awareness, this relationship, that Atlantis was so great a city, so great a civilization. And while as with all civilizations, there is a point where, or empires, there is a point where it all starts to get a bit dark, it all starts to fall apart, and Atlantis is no different. Now, with the acquirement of power and influence and greatness and in all its splendor, there comes the battle with the ego. Soldiers are being recruited into the army for the sole purpose of expansion of Atlantis, for the sole purpose of coercion. At the receiving end of neighboring towns, neighboring civilizations. And although Atlantis was a self-sufficient city, self-sufficient area, they just wanted more. They just wanted a bit more. It was not enough. And they started to prey on other civilizations, the neighboring civilizations. They took what belonged to them and brought it to their towns. They took their people, they took their resources, they took their minerals, and they started to expand. They became a bit too self-absorbed. They lost sight of the very thing that kept them together to begin with. And they continued to do this for probably centuries, because a civilization as rich as described by Plato would have lasted a bit long, or maybe poetically, maybe it would have been very short and fleeting for Atlantis. Because sometimes when you think about it, the greatest things, the most savourable things don't last long. But let's just keep the idea that they did last long, and they continued in their quest to conquer the world, although they had the world before them. And sadly, it is the reality of every empire that has ruled on earth. And Atlantis continued doing what they were doing, taking and taking and taking and taking and taking. And amidst all of these, there was a silent observer. She was watching silently and patiently as Atlantis' cup started to fill with every death, with every... Alright, is that gonna be censored or something? I don't know how this works, but everyone says unalived. That just kind of derailed the story. But yeah, I might just, what they call it, blip it out. But every unaliving that, this is completely unrelated, but I just have to say it anyways. You know how, I don't even know why people say unaliving. I'm just continuing the trend because that's what I saw. And maybe someone else is going to watch a video, and then if they become a content creator, they do the same thing and it becomes blah, blah, blah. And then nobody even realizes why they did it in the first place, and just becomes Bible. You know what I mean? That's how a lot of things have just... Anyways, let's go back to Atlantis. So they continue to do this. They continue to take and take and take and take until in one day, according to Plato, in one moment, and then you have it in mind that a day could be 1,000 years and 1,000 years could be one day. A day could be 1,000 moments and 1,000 moments could be one moment. I don't know. So, but in one moment, everything came crashing down on Atlantis, and the series of catastrophes resulted in them being submerged by water, submerged by the very pillars that once held the city together. And well, that was the beginning of the end, or that was the end for them. And that is the reason why I said a moment happened, a moment came upon them that they could not remember. They hadn't the chance to remember. A tragedy befell them that they could not mourn. They hadn't the opportunity to mourn. But I'm forced to believe that they were survivors of this. And this has nothing to do with Plato's account. This is my input now. This thing, the whole Atlantis thing, well, it happens on the Strait of Gibraltar. And I did a bit of research, and that's about 27 kilometers, let's just say 30 approximately kilometers away from central Egypt, Kemet. And then I thought about it. Atlantis, 11,000 years BCE. And I said, 11,000 BCE, I said, what are the odds that the survivors of Atlantis, with all their knowledge and their wisdom, journeyed 27 kilometers into Kemet, and they used everything that they lost, all the knowledge, having learned now, and they started. And they settled first. They first settled in Kemet, and then started ancient Egypt, or settled in Kemet, and they started Kemet as Kemet as we know it. Obviously, that took years, or maybe they added to Kemet somehow. I don't know. That's just my input. I think it's worth thinking about, because there's not 27 kilometers is not so far for a civilization that knows is as advanced as is advertised by the different accounts. 27 kilometers of movement to another place, settling down, rebuilding, and then starting something anew is not so far-fetched. But yeah, let's go back to Atlantis. Alright, so for those of you who are not new here, this is the part where we do some detective work. Alright, so in every known and semi-known civilization that once ruled to the scale of an empire, to an empirical scale, every known and semi-known civilization is displayed the same characteristics that Atlantis displayed. Military force, military, exertion of military superiority, technology, and now technology is relative to the era in which the civilization or the empire dwelled on Earth. So obviously, if we talk about an empire that probably reigned 2,000 years ago, technology, being high or advanced in technology will obviously be relative to the technologies that existed in that time. So obviously there are tons of civilizations that displayed a lot of characteristics that we've seen with Atlantis. Like I said, technology, military, the abundance of food, of minerals, of influence, the influence that they had over just the name. These empires were already a thing to fret about at the time, and they all kind of started the same. They start as protecting their people, shielding their people, and then from there it grows into being exploitative in a way. It's the same way with every empire, and the exploitativeness results in the expansion, as with Atlantis, and it all kind of ends the same way. In one moment, in one divine moment. And when I say one moment, like I've already said before, a moment could be 1,000 years, 100 years, 50 years, but there's a moment, or it could even be a process. The moment can be a process, but in a moment, they are subdued, they are submerged by the very pillars of their civilization, and it's kind of the same thing. And there's so many names that could be mentioned. I'm going to look down because I've written some of them. The Inca Empire, the French, the Persian, the Roman, the Ottoman, the Egyptian, the Greek, the Mongol, the British, the Chinese, the Babylonian, the Russian, the Spanish, the Aztec, the Viking, the Mali empires. All of these empires ruled the same way. They protected their people, and when that was not enough for them, protection was assured, then they went to explore other lands, take other lands, conquer other lands. And obviously you know that with doing that, war is required. And when war is in the picture, then protection becomes a fragile thing, because the people who you've taken from will want revenge, and they are going to attack you. And the very people that you once protected so successfully would now be in jeopardy because you have decided to lean to your ego. And a lot of these empires lean too deeply into your ego. And a lot of these empires that I have listed, some of them, or most of them, have been destroyed, conquered, and the ones that still remain in little bits and pieces are either already decaying or I don't know, a complete shadow. Anyone that is left is already decaying. That's the truth. Let's just call a spade a spade. Anyone that is left is already decaying. The rot is evident. Even the citizens or the people that dwell in these empires can feel it. You know what I mean? So, well, that has been the history of every empire that has dwelled on this planet. And well, till the end of time, it will continue to be the story of every empire that is to come, every empire that has come. And the only empire that will not face the same end will be that which is matriarchal. I hope I got that word right. Matriarchal. One that is a matriarchy, and by matriarchy I mean one that has a connection to itself, one that has a connection to its people, and one that has a connection to the earth, and that respects each and every one of these three. And this trinity is the reason that it will stand, that it will thrive forever. It would quite literally be heaven on earth, a new earth. If you were religious, you would know what I'm talking about. But I'm not religious by any chance, but I'm very, very, very well versed in religious things, because it is a domain that I myself once dwelled in quite deeply. Before we continue, anyways, this is the Blue Zone. It's the zone where we talk about spirituality in such a way that is more engaging than the rep is got. And well, I will try to share some truths with you in a manner, I don't know, in the most entertaining manner that I possibly can at the moment. And well, as we continue to advance, then we would see how we take all this information that I'm sharing and transcend it and see what's next after all this knowledge that we have acquired in the Blue Zone. And well, a video at a time, we will get there. But let's go back to Atlantis. Alright, so we have come to the final chapter. And if you're not new here, and I keep saying if you're not new here, because if you watched the first video, then you should already have a clue of what I'm about to say. Or you shouldn't be so far away from where we're headed. And well, Atlantis is your story. Atlantis is my story. Atlantis is our story. It's always been our story. Why do you think these things exist? They're reminders of us, these books, these myths, these legends, they're our story. Our stories, they've just been written in such a way, translated in such a way, retold in such a way that they've kind of derailed a bit. But if you truly ponder it, and in this channel we truly will be pondering a lot of these things, going deep into a lot of these things. But present, past and future happen in the same moment. That's the reason history keeps repeating itself, because it's not, that's probably for another video, but history is like, anyways mate, Atlantis, everything about it is us. It is us. It's always been us. And will continue to be us. There are many stories we're going to uncover in this channel. So if you're not subscribed, you probably should be. So you see what next we would delve into. And if you have a story that you may want me to talk about or analyze or break down, then leave it in the comments. But the real question now is, for how long are we going to be the lost city of Atlantis? When are we going to find ourselves? When are we going to stop being lost? When are we going to find our potential? When are we going to find our courage? When are we going to find our intuition? When are we going to find our intellect, our true intellect? When are we going to find ourselves? That is the most important question now. When are we going to stop repeating history? Northerner,